We're going to do a water fill-up procedure on a Mimaki UJF-6042 Mark II. You may need to do this if you're showing an error such as water lack, water route, or heater high temp. To do this procedure, we must be in the right sub window before we start. So, powered on, go to Menu, Maintenance, Water fill up. As it says, inject water slowly until the buzzer sounds. This is when the pump turns off and we're able to access the water system. Our required supplies for this procedure are the coolant, Mimaki's Antifreeze, pure distilled water. I'm using CPAP water here. Nothing but distilled water can be used. A measuring cup, and one of the 2 style syringes that come with your machine. The required mixture ratio is 1 part antifreeze so here I'm doing 100 milliliters to 2 parts distilled water. So I want you to mix up 300 milliliters total, 2 parts water, 1 part coolant. We're now going to inject this into the machine using one of the 2 syringes. Our coolant system access is behind these clamshell doors on the left side. This is active while the machine is running, pumping fluid through it. Only time it's not is when we're, as I spoke of earlier, in the windows will allow us to fill this up. So now we can undo this. This is where we put the water in. This is where we suck air out to purge the system. If we're using the small syringe to put in fluid, we would put the syringe tip directly into the in port. If we're using the large syringe, which I'm going to today, we would plug the tube into the syringe and then that into the in port. Now you remember the message earlier said inject water slowly until you hear the buzzer. So that wasn't enough. Fill up the syringe again. There's the beep. Now we know we can proceed on to the next step. When the buzzer beeps, we want to hit enter. And now it's telling us to add 200 cc's more of the coolant solution. So we do. That would be 2 of the large syringes up to 100, or obviously more of those on the smaller syringes up to 200 milliliters, which would roughly be 2 and a little bit more of the smaller syringes. So we'll add that water or coolant mixture. For a water fill up, that would be it. But if you also want to air purge the system, I recommend at this point you put your syringe into the out port and pull. You'll get lots of air, but eventually you'll get coolant. Continue pulling until you get a good solid 100 or 80, 100 cc's of nothing but coolant. Then you know the air is purged. Reinsert that into the in port. And close up the system. Make sure these connections are tight. Finger tight, but tight. Now on some of these older machines, we've noticed a leak. A slow drip or slow leak can come out of these connections once they get old. We have found a good way to resolve this is to get, here's a part number, M700408. It's a little O-ring. And if you slip that over the inside tip of this connector, it will act as a gasket. And that's a great way to get the older machines that have a slow leak at the connection to stop leaking. And that's it for the water fill-up.